Trinidad Chambliss took apart the Hogs, but we need to bring in an Ole Miss legend, Bill Flowers, for a little bit of a temperature check.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Steven Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media and with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss staff member as well. We bring in Ole Miss legend Bill Flowers to talk about the Rebels and their win over the Arkansas Razorbacks and get ready for the Tulane Green Wave. Thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen. Please give us a like, subscribe, and comment on your way out. Check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college and pro, they're available. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. All right, so Bill, it's really interesting because all week it was will he or won't he, or is it going to be Austin Simmons? Is it going to be Trinidad Chambliss? Well, it was Trinidad Chambliss, and man, that panned out a lot higher than the expectations were.
Well, I think from our offensive line standpoint, I have all the faith in the world in Austin Simmons, but I think with the lack of offensive protection for Austin Simmons, having Trinidad with his ability with his legs showed that this is the perfect person for the offense for right now. I don't think you could have started out with a better performance for someone, especially coming in hot, right after, Austin Simmons having to, get hurt. So I think they're in good hands right now.
Yeah, they are. And Tulane's coming up, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, man, it was an interesting game plan. Kewan Lacey was such a willing blocker for the quarterback run game. There was a lot of great passes to like Daquan Wright caught one, Caden Lee caught one. He used his checkdowns effectively. A whole lot of watching that game, I kind of got really excited because it was a lot of the stuff that we've been calling for multiple years.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything. He did everything that needed to be done. Being able to hit those checkdowns quickly, he was able to utilize the press man coverage. We're going to get it out of the quick. If you're going to stack the box, if you're going to try to take away the run, I'm going to take what the defense gives me. And he did exactly that. I think that was a show of what, bringing somebody in that's won a national championship. I don't care what level you're at. Today I was having a conversation with somebody. It doesn't matter really what division you're playing at. If you can play and you get that opportunity at any level, you will shine. He's a prime example of that.
Yeah, I think it was a scrimmage this fall early on. I think it may have been the one that Austin Simmons struggled in at the beginning. But Trinidad Chambliss was in there for 6 possessions and led the team to 6 touchdowns. There is such a thing as somebody that just has it and can make touchdowns happen. He's not the most physically imposing guy. He's not an NFL 1-1 guy, but the way he plays the game is very conducive to moving the chains down the field.
Well, being able to, again, the offensive line is the weak link. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. So having somebody that is very, very versatile in their ability to throw the ball and to scramble very effectively is something that you're going to have in this offense. We saw a little bit with Austin Simmons that if the offensive line can't allow him to be protected, there's going to be some issues. And so I think Trinidad showed that he can take what the defense is going to give you. He's going to check down. He's going to take the open run. And I was so impressed with his accuracy downfield. As the coaches said, there's a lot of similarities with Russell Wilson, and I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, I noticed it on the deep balls because there was a whole lot of air put underneath the ball. It was a very Russell Wilson looking deep ball with the way he put it together. Now, as good as it was on the offensive side, it was as bad as it was on the defensive side.
And we talked. We talked about this last week. I think maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like Pete Golden has been known for bringing a lot of pressure. Bringing a lot of guys, making a little bit of exotic looks, but always bringing pressure. And it just didn't seem like we brought pressure hardly ever last week. And when they did, it seemed to be very effective.
Do you know what that looked like? And this is going to cause some flashbacks to certain people in the fan base. But it looked like in that 7 overtime Arkansas game that you played in, it looked like what Ole Miss's defensive coordinator was doing in that game with Matt Jones. They were so scared of him running the ball.
Yeah.
They gave him all day and just let him run around back there. And whenever you do that, you can't ask a cornerback to cover a wide receiver for 6 seconds. That's not a realistic goal.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the defense that we've had over the last couple of years, especially last year, was built on just getting after the quarterback, bringing as much pressure as you can, make the defense make mistakes. And I think that's something that we didn't see last week. And maybe that was because they were afraid of the quarterback being able to run and maybe giving him too much credibility or too much time to just sit back there. If I was going to be a defensive coordinator, I would definitely love to bring the heat, bring as much pressure as you can, and rely on your backfield to convert on interceptions.
Yeah, and they played pretty well, although they did drop 3 interceptions in that game. If they pick off 2 of those passes over the course of the game, they end up winning by 20 points. I mean, it's a weird game, football, but the way it played out, the offense had to play a clean, perfect game because one mistake, one time not getting the score, you're going to end up getting beat.
I was on a text thread with some people, and they kept on asking, when are we ever going to bring pressure? When? And that's the opposite of what it was last year. It seemed like they really brought a lot of pressure last year. They knew that they had to make the defense create pressure on the quarterback to make the offense make mistakes. And so it was very much different from what we were expecting. It doesn't seem like that was the identity. But I think maybe moving forward, you see a little bit more of a aggressiveness.
Yeah, especially with Jake Retzlaff, with Gunnar Stockton, with John Mateer coming up, Lenore Sellers, mobile quarterbacks. Pete Golding does have an opportunity to figure something out because that game plan kind of wasn't it, honestly. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think putting pressure on a running quarterback, but you have to have a spy. You've got to have a spy. I think that's what we talked about last week. Was you would put a player to spy, but you would bring heat. I think with a running quarterback, that's what you're going to have to do. And quite frankly, if I was playing Ole Miss right now, I would do the same thing. I would say, man, Chambliss is that if that kid starts running, you're going to have problems. So maybe you take away a little bit of the pass coverage to protect yourself, to hedge your bets on making sure that he, whoever that jackbacker is, that he's keeping him contained.
All right, when we come back, we will turn our attention to the Tulane Green Wave and Jake Retzlaff, another mobile quarterback that likes to run. But first, we want to tell you, Mazda cars, they do more than simply move. From footwork to breathwork to athlete sweat, all the details. Mazda brings the same intention on how they craft every single model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery, you can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. Like our players, we sweat every detail, but because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move or be moved. Also, it's almost the weekend. It's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with the DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For Ole Miss, it's Trinidad Chambliss, and he delivered in a big way. He was a weapon on the goal line as a runner and a passer en route to 3 touchdowns against Arkansas. When the pressure was on, Trinidad came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance was not a fluke. What I mean is he has been on the platform at the D2 level and gotten the Harlan Hill Trophy. Trinidad wants to go on a streak, and he can against Tulane this weekend. And just like Trinidad Chambliss delivered for the Ole Miss Rebels, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it all up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, and fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period runs through November 18th. All right. Do us a favor and like and subscribe and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you listen to and give it a 5-star review. It costs nothing, but keeps all of this free. If you want more, join the Insiders program in the subtext link that's down below. No trolls, 14-day free trial. The easiest way to enter ever. It's the place where we put any inside information we get. It's the place where we do our graphics and 3 takes, and it's one way that you have to actually communicate with me if you want to do that. I don't really do the engagement stuff on the other stuff. I kind of use that for advertising, but that is there. And don't forget to check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is ready for you. All right, so Bill, with Tulane, and you have John Retzlaff, and we talked about the mobile quarterbacks and the defense. I think, honestly, this is the game where Ole Miss needs to put Suntan Perkins on the line and say, just get after it.
No, I agree. And I think he is their leading rusher, if I'm not mistaken. So
he's only thrown for about 160 yards a game, too.
Yeah, so you definitely have that athletic quarterback that is going to focus on trying to beat you with his legs. So I agree. I mean, I think that whenever you have a Suntan Perkins and you've got the ability to use him, I mean, you got to use him to his strengths. I think that's what Pete Golden will do is going to, he's our best defensive player. The guy's a freak. So just utilize his strengths. And I agree.
Yeah. Put the left tackle out there on skates. If you can get to that, it's going to slow everything down. I think Ole Miss is going to attack the mesh point, if we're going to be honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, if you can get someone to get in the backfield, especially Perkins, if you can get him back there, create issues with handoffs, create a distress, it opens up all the other areas for when you bring pressure. And I think that's one of the things that Perkins does so well is that he demands so much attention. So if you are going to be aggressive, if you are going to bring other defenders, Perkins is going to be able to open up those holes, to be able to meet the backers in the hole or get to the quarterback.
And one rumor that's coming out this week is this could be I think they want to spell TJ Daugherty a little bit so he doesn't get worn down because he played every snap against Arkansas. But I think Andrew Jones might get a little bit of work moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think utilizing the depth is very, it's crucial, especially with, the SEC lineup that we've got. So utilizing, protecting the depth is what's going to help allow Ole Miss to have a long run in, for the season.
Yeah, outstanding there. They play at 2:30 against the Tulane Green Wave Central Time on ESPN. When we come back, we will talk to Bill about this game in particular and figure out where Ole Miss might have advantages to exploit. Okay, right after this. Most people can't name all their financial accounts and even what they're worth, whether it's a 401k, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That is why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your financing, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see a clear data visual, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify what you're not saving on as much as you thought. Monarch helps you notice an inefficient investment allocation and discover forgotten 401ks from fast jobs. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browsing for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONCollege. Should be pretty interesting. All right. Bill, looking at this game, one thing that's really interesting to me, if Ole Miss plays its best and Tulane plays its best, Ole Miss is going to win this game. Every interception, every penalty, and all that brings it a little bit closer to even. And anything that Tulane does wrong tilts it the other direction. But I think after the Arkansas game, Ole Miss proved that it could play a clean football game. If Ole Miss can play a clean football game, they're going to beat the Tulane Green Wave.
I think one of the biggest takeaways from as an Ole Miss fan is that Ole Miss showed you that if it gets into those moments where history has not been kind to Ole Miss, that Ole Miss is maturing and growing up and understanding how to win. And so I think Ole Miss is a much more of a mature team than they have been in the past, from a leadership standpoint, a Coach Kiffin standpoint. So obviously, if no one makes mistakes, everybody plays clean. Yes, but mostly, that's not likely to happen. There's gonna be mistakes. There's gonna be times where the ball doesn't go your way, and how they react, how they handle the situations, is going to be crucial. I don't think there's, with the transfer portals, I think the difference between talent levels are significantly different from where they were in the past. So you're going to have some really good players that are with Tulane that only make Tulane better. So by no stretch of the imagination is Tulane going to be a cakewalk. I think a lot of it's going to come down to just the maturity of this is a game that we should win, that we can win, and they operate on all cylinders and they execute correctly. I think if they do that, they win the game.
Did you play Tulane whenever you were in college?
Yes, played. I think that was my true freshman year. Our opener.
Okay.
It might have been my redshirt freshman year.
Okay. That was that in the Superdome or in Oxford?
No, that was in Oxford, and it was still hot.
Yeah, anytime you do the opener, at least they do the wear white now in the first home game before Labor Day. But man, you can get it like hotter than the surface of the sun when those two get together. You're going to have a hot game.
Yeah, and Tulane always brings a great fan base. It's always a good time in Oxford. So I know this is going to be whenever Ole Miss plays Oxford, Ole Miss plays Tulane, it's always a good time.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks should be a pretty good experience in the Grove because Tulane comes up. this weekend, they feel pretty good. The next weekend, LSU comes into town, which is that's going to be nuts.
I didn't even think about that. So it's sort of like it's sort of like the playoffs. Do you if you've got all the time and the money in the world, go to both.
Yeah.
But do you choose one or the other? If you're going to be coming to Oxford.
I will say this, since Lane's been there, they've done a pretty good job of selling that place out.
Yeah.
So we'll see exactly how it goes. All right. We need a flag football update. Tell us how it's going.
So we've been we were off last week.
Okay.
The game so we were off Saturday, but we did play Wednesday. And my son was sick. He's a wing back. Another kid couldn't play. So I was only playing with 5 guys, and it did not go as planned. I told some of the guys to run forward, and they ran backwards. We dropped another one.
Okay, we will get it turned around. You're running the wing T in flag football. I that just baffles me to begin with. Anyway, what do you got planned for this weekend?
Gonna be pulling for the Rebels. We got flag football, we got baseball, and we got golf. So we are busy.
Yeah, y'all are sportsing up. Anyway, Bill, Thank you for stopping by, and we'll talk to you next week, bud.
Sir, hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy. Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it's totally free. Your support means the world to us. In another big moment for Locked On, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.